So I'm Becky Leyser, she, her. Reverend Amelia led us last week by introducing the theme for this month, Choosing Hope. As I considered this theme in preparing for today, I had a momentary thought. Kindness during this holiday season hits all the feels. For those who love the season, it's a way to spread joy. And for those who find this time of year hard and complicated, the practice can act as a balm for our souls. So let's explore. Now, I am a huge Hallmark movie fan, especially this time of year. Now, are the movies formulaic? Yep. Can I typically guess within the first 10 minutes who's going to be falling in love, what the scheme will be, how they're going to be pulled apart, and how they're going to come back together? Yep. And I have an 80 to 85% accuracy rating. And what is true for me is that as long as the chemistry is good between the actors, I don't care about any of that. You see, I love the process of love. I enjoy watching people fall in love. I like to see what, as a species, we get hung up on. And I like to see when we can get past experiences that are hard, what that's about. How we kind of move towards the thrill of falling in love. I think it's part of the reason why I like the season. I like seeing people go out of their way to help one another. I like the idea of an innkeeper taking pity on a young family whose mama is pregnant and about to give birth by giving them space in a warm manger since there's no space in the inn. I like the idea of that baby being so special that shepherds travel to see him and pay respect. And I think it's a lovely metaphor that wise men come from afar, maybe wise people, right? Come from afar to gift that babe with fragrant spices and silver and gold. Because shouldn't every child be treated like they are the most beautiful and special creation alive? I love that. And I like the secular versions just as much. I love the idea that there is a large fat man who travels the world one night a year and brings gifts to all the children. And I like that he's known for drawing individuals together like the man and woman from A Miracle on 34th Street. I like Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life, who helps George understand his importance to this little community that George has been trying to escape most of his life. And I love that a self-proclaimed Grinch can have his heart grow 3 sizes in a single day when he figures out that it's about the communities pulling together and loving one another, not the stuff that they give each other. Now, undoubtedly, part of why I'm such a huge fan is because I come from a loving family who enjoyed each other during the season. My mother's last Christmas is forever burned into my brain. I was born into a big family, 2 brothers and 3 sisters, and most of them at that time had families of their own. And that day, we all came together during the afternoon of Christmas Day, and we ate a meal, and we unwrapped presents, and we sat around telling stories and laughing like lunatics and joking with one another for a couple of hours. The next year, my mom died on December 24th. But even that didn't ruin the holiday for me, because I've always just experienced it as a time of family being together and letting the love bubble up through. I'm lucky that way, because I know that not everyone has had this experience for this time of year. This past week, I was speaking to one of my best friends who lamented, "I hate this holiday." That's real. I think, although I don't know for sure, that the holidays always felt filled with drama, in his case. And I know others for whom the holidays could be downright dangerous, filled with adults who drank too much and got too friendly. There wasn't love and kindness, only pressure and drama and a dollop or a gallon of meanness. So I started wondering about what I could talk about that would be beneficial even for those who hate this time of year. Most of the advice around managing stress in the holiday season talks about managing expectations, yours and others. So being clear about what you're up for and what you're not, setting boundaries, sticking to them, focusing on self-care like getting enough sleep and enough exercise and eating healthy, allowing yourself to feel all of the feels, regardless of whether they're positive or negative. It's one of the great things about here, right? All are welcome. That includes all the feels. And some of this advice also focuses on practices that help center us in meaning, being aware of what brings us gratitude, being mindful, and practicing small acts of kindness. The National Institute of Health, in an article in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine, states, "The central idea is that kindness creates positive, and it defines positive as supportive and meaningful, positive social connections, which in turn reduce the response to stressors, as well as fulfill basic innate needs that are critical to health and longevity." So even if you're not a fan of this particular holiday season, taking this opportunity to be kind to others will help lower your stress and connect you to others in small and positive ways. To that end, I would like to challenge you to do something kind at least twice in the next week. And to help with that, we're going to do a little activity. The goal of this activity is to walk away with 4 ideas that you could do that would be kind. 2 of these ideas should be outwardly focused, meaning small acts of kindness that you can perform in service to others. These could be something that costs a small amount of money, like paying for somebody's coffee, or it could be something that costs you just a little bit of time, like letting somebody go in front of you when you're purchasing groceries. And 2 of these kindness activities should be inwardly focused. Of course, that means you're going to do something nice for yourself. It could be purchasing a small food treat, or it could be having a dance party in the kitchen. But something that would be a kindness that you could appreciate. Now, what's true for me is when somebody gives me a task like this, my mind generally just goes blank. And I try to think up things and I get a little stuck. I think these kind of creative endeavors are sometimes hard, especially if you haven't had your coffee yet. So we're going to do small groups and we're going to brainstorm together for just a few minutes. We'll take about 4 minutes and just talk about things we could do. And then we'll take 1 more minute and we'll select 2 things for ourselves and 2 things for others, and we'll write them down on the pieces of paper. There's pieces of paper on every chair, and if you don't see one, there are extra chairs. And there are also pens, but there are not as many pens as there are chairs. Those of you who are on Zoom, I'll come back to you in just a second, so you might want to take this minute to go locate a piece of paper and pen, since I didn't tell you this ahead of time. In the church, could you begin to start making groups? So as a reminder, I'm asking you to commit to doing at least one thing that is kind for yourself and one thing that is kind for someone else. And I would actually like you to do it in that order. And here's why. One of the coolest things about kindness that shows up again and again and again in the research is that just by witnessing something kind, others are apt to be more kind as well. So, if you do something kind for yourself, you will be more likely to follow through on being kind to somebody else. And if you are all kind to somebody else, chances are that will ripple out into the world. We're going to take this activity to make this holiday season that can be hard and complicated or loving and kind. And we're going to use the activity to make the world just a little more positive. Let your love light shine through. Blessings to all of you.